Sam Farmer, LA Times NFL national writer, and he was at the Niners-Rams game on Sunday, which we'll talk about. Sam, thanks for getting up early with us. What do you make of pass interference and the replay of these? Like, I don't know what's going on, but it almost feels like it's deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love that segue. Somebody who's average at his job. And Sam Farmer. No, it is. It's really frustrating. It's almost, there was the non-call in the Giants Patriots game, and Golden Tate basically had his hands handcuffed behind him, and you're not going to call that. It's almost like flaunting it. Like, look, yes, we're not changing this, and it's kind of like why make the change if why go through all the trouble of talking about reviewing pass interference if it's just going to be so arbitrary and almost impossible to change a call on the field? Is this all based on the Rams and Saints and creating a system where you can save yourself in the playoffs? But I mean, you got to have some consistency here, and some of these things are just ridiculous.
Yeah, I start to wonder, even if they had this, new system in place in the Saints-Rams game, they might have gotten that one wrong too, the way things are going here. I mean, it's just... Yeah,
I mean, it just seems so cosmetic right now, and right now the cosmetics aren't working. People see that the officials are going to stick with their call on the field, unless there's some arbitrary reason they don't. But there's no consistency to it right now.
Hey, McLevin, give Sam the poll question.
Okay, who's in the most trouble, the Chiefs, the Rams, or the Cowboys?
Boy, I'd have to say the Cowboys but the Cowboys, fans kind of got drunk on that start. They beat the Giants with Eli and the Redskins and the Dolphins, and everybody thought they were rolling. But you look at it, they don't have their two starting tackles. They don't have their two best receivers. And they got the Eagles coming up. They're at the Giants with Daniel Jones, better Giants team. And then they play the Vikings, who I think are kind of the sneaky Super Bowl team right now out of the NFC. So I think the Cowboys are in the most trouble of those teams.
You got a chance to see the Rams and the Niners. Let me start with the Niners. How good are they?
They're exceptional defensively. They're 5-0 for the first time since 1990. But they did this without one of they're both starting their tackles are out. They didn't have their starting fullback, a corner, a nickel corner they lost in the game. But I mean, just what they did defensively. When you look at that stat line, the Rams, who were the last 2 years one of the best offenses in the league, they were 0 for 9 on third down. Now, this is at home. They were 0 for 4 on fourth down. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's 13-2 as a starter. Hasn't even started a complete season yet if you cram all his starts together. And so now they play at Washington. I mean, they're a really, really good team, and everything is sort of coming together the way Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch had envisioned, but very quickly. So I really like the Niners.
Is Sean McVay still a genius?
I mean, I think he's an excellent coach. I don't know if I ever called him a genius, but I think he's still an excellent coach. Look, if that kick in Seattle is 1 foot to the left, the whole narrative changes. Now, they are in a tough stretch right now, definitely. Their offensive line, there are foundational cracks to the Rams. I mean, their offensive line is a problem right now. And if it's going to get worse, they've lost Joe Noteboom. Todd Gurley is not Todd Gurley, but he showed flashes in Seattle of being that player that he once was. And, defensively, they're struggling up front. They're struggling to stop the run, and I think that limits what Aaron Donald can do. Still probably the best player in the league right now. But they've got a soft cushion because they play at Atlanta, and they play Cincinnati in London, and then they have their bye. So they have a couple of weeks to sort of catch their breath. right now. Now, anything can happen. I mean, Tampa Bay came across the country and beat them, and Jameis Winston looked like Tom Brady. But I think that the Rams, when you look at, you said the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Cowboys, the Rams sort of have a chance to catch up now, catch their breath, and win a couple of games.
Talking to Sam Farmer, the NFL national writer for the LA Times. Second best team in the AFC is?
Oh, boy.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, look across the board. You know, I still, you know, Chiefs have back-to-back losses at home, okay? I still think they're a great team. You know, teams are sort of figuring out if we can play keep away. Now, granted, their defense is bad, and they can't stop the run. They're giving up 5.2 yards a carry, so teams are playing keep away from Patrick Mahomes. I still think that's a really good team. Now, I don't think they're the second best team in the AFC right now, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those years again where the Patriots are sort of running away with it. You look at the West, the South. I mean, Houston's interesting. The North. I mean, boy, I guess Baltimore. You'd have to say Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah. I sort of settled on them. I said there's not a second best team, so I gave Baltimore the third best team in the AFC.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's good.
You know, when I'm watching the Chargers game last night, there were a lot of Steeler fans there, Sam. If the Chargers all of a sudden left Los Angeles, would anybody notice?
Yeah, I mean, that's really a tough situation. Now, granted, we kind of knew that the Steelers would take over a stadium. It's not surprising that probably their fans are the best traveling fans in the league. But this is happening every week, even with teams that don't travel as well. Yeah. They're taking over at least half the stadium, and I think that if you're a great team, you can overcome that. But if you're a team where every feather on the scale counts, that has a devastating cumulative effect psychologically if you never play a home game. And the Chargers never have a home field advantage ever. And, you know, you think about the team moving into a new stadium, and I kind of, and some people have said, you know, things will be better when the Chargers move into the new stadium. And I kind of equate that to my wife and I will stop fighting once we have children. You know, it's like it's only going to complicate things when you move into this 70,000 seat stadium. When right now in a 27,000 seat stadium, it's half the opposing fans. So it's hard to envision this ending well for the Chargers and for the NFL, really, because the whole notion of LA being a two-team market is sort of blown up by this. And, you know, this is a market that for 20 years consumed football from the couch and watched it on TV, and it's only gotten worse. And so now trying to sort of flood the engine with two teams is really difficult.
In 10 years, do you think the Chargers are still in Los Angeles?
Boy, I would not be surprised if they were not. It's, you know, this is a weird – I just don't see how this gets better from here. Yeah. Because, you know, and it's moving the needle. How do you move the needle in Los Angeles? And it's hard enough for the Rams to move the needle, especially because you think about everybody now has a super short attention span. Red Zone channel is you know, people like that sort of quick hit thing, and so attending games is not as compelling as it once was. You got fantasy football has taken hold. It's really tough. I'd love to give a definitive answer on whether the Chargers will be here or not. I just don't know how you solve the riddle at this point.
Sam, great to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Anytime.
That's Sam Farmer, LA Times NFL national writer.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.